Good evening, I'm Don Weigel.
I'm Nicole Green.
Tonight on WRBN News 3, the teacher's contract is signed.
A visit to Ryder's new affiliate, Westminster Choir College.
We'll talk with Dr. J. Barton Ludicky on his one-year anniversary here at Ryder.
And in sports, the Ryder College cross-country team does it again. We'll have those stories and more in a moment.
Here's tonight's top story on News 3. The faculty of Ryder College settled contract disputes today with the administration. Evelyn Rodriguez has more on that story.
Main stumbling block seemed to be the course workload.
The most important one that came out of this negotiation is a reduction of workload. According to the contract, or the previous contract, faculty are required to teach
Here's tonight's top story on News 3. The faculty of Ryder College settled contract disputes today with the administration. Evelyn Rodriguez has more on that story.
After weeks of threatened walkout by the Ryder faculty, the new faculty contract was finally ratified. According to Dr. Barry Truschel, Ryder Associate Professor and member of the negotiating team, the main stumbling block seemed to be the course workload.
The most important one that came out of this negotiation is a reduction of workload. According to the contract, or the previous contract, faculty are required to teach 24 hours of classes a year. That comes down to, we'll say, 4 classes each semester if you don't teach one in January. This contract reduced that to 18 hours, or the equivalent of 3 classes each contract. There was a lot to do with that. For example, the ISP, the interim semester program that was always in January, will be eliminated. That was one way to make up for the workload, where it's going to happen to a lot of the courses that are currently being taught. I think both faculty and the administration thought that the ISP was a valuable aspect of the college. However, given the total package, it was one of those things that had to go.
Although the course load was one of the key issues, according to Dr. Roderick McDonald, the health benefits was also a crucial issue discussed.
I think that a lot of the needs were not addressed in this contract because the negotiating team targeted a specific issue, which was the workload issue. I think there are some important needs that are still to be addressed, such in particular, I think, in the health insurance.
Although most of the issues were settled upon, Dr. Truschel could not foresee any specific issues that might be brought up in the 1995 negotiating period.
Well, right now, the negotiations are over and we have a contract in place. It's really hard at this point to say what has to be addressed 3 years from now.
One point that the faculty refused to surrender was governance.
In terms of governance, how workload gets decided, who decides who teaches what classes, as well as how does one decide who gets promoted. That's what's called governance. How is academic policy made? And that basically remains the same.
Was this a fair contract?
Oh no, but I think that a lot of the needs were not addressed in this contract.
Now that the negotiations were done, Ryder doesn't have to worry about a strike for the next 3 years. For now, everything's back to normal. This is Evelyn Rodriguez reporting for WRBN.
Last spring, Wrbn merged with the failing Westminster Choir College. The college decided to take a gamble because it would give them property in Princeton, add prestige, and in addition to obtaining a College of Music. Here's Anthony Coleman with more.
In the spring of 1991, Wrbn announced its merger with the failing Westminster Choir College. Though the merger doesn't seem to have benefited Wrbn, Westminster students say they have noticed a change. Along with the merger comes the increase in curricula for Westminster. Though Wrbn students won't be required to take choir courses at Westminster, some students at Westminster say they will seize the opportunity to take classes here. Although the schools have merged, they will maintain their separate names for the meantime. So don't expect the School of Music of Westminster of Wrbn College anytime soon. This has been Anthony Coleman for WRBN News.
The science wing isn't the only construction that's going on campus. There's a new administration and financial aid building being built. Here's our own Michael Lickerman with that story.
Starting in the spring of 1992, Wrbn College will have a new admissions and financial aid building. The building, which is located between the library and student center, will replace the Van Cleve House, which is used now for admissions and financial aid. But the Van Cleve House was just given a facelift last year. George Hess, interim vice president of business and finance for Wrbn College, gave his reasoning for the new building.
The present building, the Van Cleve House up on Route 206, is really not adequate to handle the function. We felt that missions and financial aid is an important part of student services. We want to draw the campus together, bring the services down here close to the campus where it'll be easy for the students to get to.
The staff in the Van Cleve House are also excited about the move. Kathy Bielk, Director of Financial Aid, said,
I'm the only one in the financial aid office who has a private office, and even at that, I cannot see more than 2 people at one time due to the space in this office. It's 88 square feet. The new office that I'll have, I believe, is around 120 square feet. I'm not sure exactly, but that is a big improvement.
but not everyone is excited. Micah Rasmussen, Internal Affairs Commissioner, Student Government, expressed his disfavor with the construction of the new building.
It blocks the Student Center. The Student Center is supposed to be the focal point on campus. It's the biggest building on campus. It's the building for students. And now it just blocks off that whole balcony side. Spring Fling is going to be a lot different, and so is Cranberry and White, or Cranberry Festival.
The new multi-million-dollar science wing is about finished, and professors and students of science are anxiously waiting its opening. Here's Don Weigel with the story.
While much of the scenery at Ryder has remained the same throughout the decades, the academic buildings have seen major changes in the last few years. Following in the wake of Ryder's new business building, a new addition to Science Hall is nearly completed. With a futuristic look and facilities to match, the new wing has generated enthusiasm among Ryder science professors. Excitement was not hard to find in the science building as Dr. David Campbell, a marine biology professor here at Ryder, shared his thoughts on the new addition.
We got better lighting in here, just much more amenable for student education. We also got nicer facilities. We got a shower in here. When we come back from the field, I can wash the mud off me instead of having to go to class all messed up. We got better facilities for the animal rooms that meet NIH guidelines, which wasn't the case before.
But it's not only professors who are excited about the new addition. Ryder sophomore Patrice High had this to say.
I was glad that they were building onto the building because there's a lot of stuff around here that's really old and we really need new.
And while the immediate interest from current students and faculty is obvious, it is also felt that the new wing will be a big draw for future Rider science majors.
Sure. This is a big recruitment emphasis for us right now, getting students in, show them the new labs. Especially we show them the new lab, show them the old lab, you know. It's a big selling point, sure.
One of the main movers and shakers behind the new science wing is Harry Bingham, the Rider Facilities Planning and Construction Director. With final construction still being completed, when will the new building be open?
The new wing is scheduled to open for the spring semester in 1992. That means about January we would hope to have it in operation.
One thing's for sure, the new wing makes the future of science at Rider look brighter. Recently, Rider College created a new prototype residence hall, the first since Lincoln. They have added carpeting in all hallways, a new entryway, lounges with furniture, and game rooms. The college sees this residence hall as the future of all living units here at Rider. Back to you, Nicole.
Recently, Rider made an amendment to its own constitution by jumping on the non-smoking bandwagon. Dave Walk has that story.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Recently, Rider College created a new prototype residence hall, the first since Lincoln. They have added carpeting in all hallways, a new entryway, lounges with new furniture, and game rooms. The college sees this residence hall as the future of all living units at Rider College. Back to you, Nicole.
Recently, Rider made an amendment to its own constitution by jumping on the non-smoking bandwagon. Dave Walk has that story.
I'm standing here in front of one of the many non-smoking signs that you will find here on Rider College campus. These signs constantly remind students that the campus is now smoke-free, with the exception of residence buildings and several designated areas. Smoking is prohibited here on the campus. The policy, which went into effect on July 1st of this past summer, has created quite a stir among those students who do smoke. Much of the controversy stems from the fact that cigarettes are no longer sold in vending machines or at the college bookstore. Therefore, students who want to purchase cigarettes have to leave the campus and therefore lose a parking spot. We talked to several students about how they feel about the policy. This is what they had to say.
Feel about the policy here, the non-smoking policy at Rider campus?
I think it's good because being a non-smoker now I don't have to walk through all the smoke to get to my classes or go through buildings.
I think it's a pretty good idea because I was getting really sick of the smoke going in my face all the time.
Do you feel that cigarettes should be made available on campus to those people who do smoke?
I think any product that is legal should be available on campus, and that includes things a heck of a lot more controversial than cigarettes.
I don't know what kind of statement the college thinks it's making by not selling cigarettes, but I think it's a service they should provide the population of their students who smoke.
Most students who smoke are annoyed that they cannot smoke in large dining halls and most of the other school buildings, including the student center and the educational buildings. The absence of cigarette vending machines make it impossible to buy cigarettes on campus. The school store no longer sells them either. For those who feel the need to light up, you can choose from the dorms, the small cafeteria, or the pub. And of course, outside. Some feel the policy is unfair, and some feel there is more to it than what actually meets the eye.
I think it's an attempt at behavior modification on a national scale, and it's being implemented by a very small group of people who are presumably relying on insurance benefits and that sort of thing.
Steve Walk reporting for Wrbn, Channel 3 News.
Rider College is changing its alcohol policy. Beer balls, kegs, and grain alcohol are not permitted on campus. No one is allowed to carry open containers of alcoholic beverages regardless of age. Alcohol consumption is also not allowed in public places such as hallways, lounges, and foyers. The penalties for breaking these rules range from a mandatory alcohol awareness class to monetary fines and possible expulsion from campus.
Rider has instituted a credit system in the snack bar called Munch Money. Don Weigel reporting.
step in its student meal plan. Munch Money was created as a convenience to Rider residents. Pete Kelly, Director of Food Services at Rider College, explains what Munch Money is.
So last spring, the college decided that they would like to start on a small scale declining balance system here at Rider College. The college decided it would be $25 per semester, fall and spring, so $50 for the academic year for all students on the 19 meal plan.
Rider snack bar worker Flo has seen firsthand how students are responding to Munch Money.
Their $25 is gone.
Flo also says most students get the late night munchies.
That's all we do is Munch Money. We don't get any money. From 8 to 10, it's just Munch Money.
But do students think they get enough Munch Money? Freshman Lauren Rowe offers her point of view.
They could. I mean, it's not really that necessary because you can spread it out for the whole semester if you really try to.
Freshman Allison Salloway disagrees.
Yeah, I guess. I think we should. Maybe about 30 or 35.
$23,000 of Munch Money has already been used. With that kind of instant success, where does Kelly see Munch Money in the future?
As we look to fall term of 92, what the school is looking at for next year is $50 per semester, so $100 during the school year. That will probably happen. In fact, I'm 99.9% sure. As you go down the road the next couple of years, I think you'll see the Munch Money balance grow larger and larger and larger.
Other news, a bomb scare in Conover left residents out in the cold for more than an hour last night. According to security, an anonymous male called them last night with the bomb threat. Residents were evacuated while the entire building was searched, but nothing was found. Both Rider and Lawrence Township Police are investigating the incident. Nicole?
In another incident, an explosion early this morning shook residents out of their beds. In Hill Residence Hall, a toilet and C first floor bathroom had completely shattered. A resident saw two men running from the scene in the direction of Switlick and Conover. Mike Winkler and resident director Steve Margolis chased the two men and searched both Switlick and Conover for the perpetrators. Director of Security Joe DiLiberto does not know if someone blew up the toilet or smashed it in. It is not known yet if Hill residents will be billed for the damages.
In Senate briefs, a meeting today diagnosed chlamydia as the #1 sexually transmitted disease. According to Lolita Riley, the head nurse at the health center, chlamydia is running rampant on campus and across the nation. In financial news, the Senate added a measure to its bylaws today which required Senate approval for any spending over $100. In another issue, the Director of Student Activities, Cassie Agiavelli, discussed the possibility of extending snack bar hours. According to Agiavelli, the main reason for not extending the hours is the low attendance after 8 p.m. Students say they want the extended hours because they get the munchies much later in the night.
When we come back, we'll have the one-year anniversary of Dr. J. Barton Luedeke and look at some of Rider's finest students. So stay tuned. It is the one-year anniversary of Dr. J. Barton Luedeke as president of Rider College. Anthony Coleman has that story.
J. Barton Luedeke has now been president of Rider College for almost 15 months after Frank Elliott retired last year. These 15 months have been ones of change for Rider, including the merger with Westminster, the new admissions and financial aid building, and the almost teacher strike. We at Wrbn News caught up with President Luedeke and talked to him about these and other issues that were in the minds of the Rider College community. Luedeke says that the job is very demanding but interesting. It has been that way ever since the beginning, especially on his inauguration day, where some students protested certain issues they felt needed addressing.
Well, I have to say I was disappointed that it occurred on that day about the issues that seemed to be involved, which didn't seem to me to be the kind of issues that you should raise on a day of celebration. Not so much for me. I tried very hard to steer that whole thing into a celebration for Rider. I think people who know me know that I'm not one who likes to to have a lot of personal attention. In fact, a lot of the things that happened in the inauguration, while very, very nice, were almost, they made me kind of uncomfortable with all the attention focused on me, and that's not a big deal for me at all. But I really felt that some of those actions were, kind of inappropriate to come up on that day and almost not to be heard from again after that. It sort of, to be really honest, it did kind of strike me as something that was sort of done for some show. And
There have also been frustrations on the part of the Rider students, for Rider's tuition has gone up again this year. He explains Rider's position this way.
Let's say that you have a business and I have a business, and your business is the independent one. You've got to charge a rate to pay all your expenses and make a little bit of a profit. And my business I do exactly the same thing you do. I have exactly the same costs of producing my product, but 80% of my operating costs is provided by somebody else. Which one of us is going to win? Pretty straightforward. And that's essentially the situation we're in.
For the longest time, Rider has been trying to obtain university status. Key feels optimistic now that the Republicans control the state legislature and can override Florida's veto. But he cautions how we should go about claiming university status, for there are some advantages and disadvantages between the words college and university.
We've done several things. We have done some surveying of alumni and have asked essentially the question, how would you feel about it, and what value would you attach to the two terms? And the overwhelming response there is that university is a higher valued term than college. I think that it would have an impact probably of a positive nature on our fundraising. I think there's some foundations that would be more inclined to give money to a university than to a college. I think at a point, if we were ever to be looking to change our athletic conference again, I think that it would probably be a factor there, because there's some conferences that like to be made up of universities. And even though our athletic program is probably the equal of them and could be very successful, from a sort of a status standpoint, they like the term university. So there are all sorts of things. I think we do have to step back, though, and look at a couple of other things. When prospective students and even current students are asked what was it that was attractive about Rider, one of the most important reasons given is small. We are perceived by students as a small institution. We're really kind of a mid-size at 5,600 head count. We're really not a small college, but we're perceived that way. I wouldn't want to do anything to destroy that attractive feature. And I kind of have some feelings that in some ways we can be a more distinguished college than university. But we are, in fact, by the definitions used in almost any state in the nation except New Jersey and a couple of others, a university already.
Key holds a positive outlook for Rider in the future.
I'm optimistic about the future. I am worried, as you raised the question about the whole economic situation and that context in which we sit in the public-private tuition. And there are a lot of difficult financial issues for Rider and other independent colleges, but I think we have a good staff and faculty here. I think we have a real interesting student population to work with. I think we're situated geographically in some very attractive ways. I think one of the real key factors for Rider is to maintain the sense of confidence and sort of positive attitudes. I'm not dismissing the fact that there are, as you indicated earlier, issues that come up people are unhappy about or concerned about or whatever. I think that's very normal. I don't see that as something that's devastating in any way. I just think that overall it's really important to keep a good positive attitude about things and to keep having agendas and goals that are a little bit beyond what we can reach at the moment, so that we keep stretching. And I just think the institution's getting better and better all the time. And I guess I don't see dramatic new departures in the next 3 years, but a year ago I wouldn't have seen the Westminster piece, and that sort of came along out of the blue and was an opportunity, and we looked at it pretty carefully for a period of several months and decided to go ahead. So you never know what's going to be out there that's a big surprise, but I see the institution just developing pretty much along the lines that we have been in recent years.
But what does the future hold for Ludicki?
I have no idea. I came here assuming I'd be here 3 to 5 years. Each time I was about to do something else, something came along at Rider that was attractive, and here I am 21 years later. I think that you come into a job like this, and it's really a mistake to set time limits either direction, short or long. Ryder's had a history of very, very long presidencies. I don't see that for me at all, that we've had only 4 presidents in 125 years. That comes out to about 33 years per person, and that's just incredibly long. It's got to be a record in American higher education. Can't imagine any institution having a record like that. The norm in higher education these days is between 5 and 6 years. Presidents don't stay often in that role for real long, but obviously there's a lot of variation. So I really don't know. The commitment I've made to myself and other people is to do the job as well as I can do it, to try to be just as honest as I can be, to be as non-political as I can be, and if things are going well, to stay, and if they're not going well, to know that and get out. What next? I have no idea. I could, there are all sorts of things. You could go to another presidency. I tell people sometimes I'd like to have a candle shop on Cape Cod. I don't know. I think that's something that I'll deal with when I get to that point.
This has been Anthony Coleman reporting for Wrbn News.
In our special segment today, we will meet with one of Ryder's most accomplished students. Here's Amy Krieger reporting on Patty Lewis.
Patty Lewis is working as the new general manager of Ryder College radio station WRRC. Patty is also an active member of Zeta Tau Alpha. But most of the time, Patty can be found at WRRC hard at work. As general manager, Patty has several responsibilities.
Pretty much just the general, overseeing, making sure the music directors are doing what they have to do, my program director's doing what she has to do, the DJs are on time, playing what they're supposed to be playing and saying what they're supposed to be saying.
One of the staff members of WRRC, Wrbn music director Anthony Coleman, talks about the new semester at WRRC with Patty as his general manager.
Patty's done an excellent job for the station, I believe. She works well with the DJs. I'm surprised she has shown great authority, respect for the DJs. She shows respect for myself and other music directors. Since she was a former music director, she knows how we feel and where we're coming from.
Although Patty does find time for herself during her busy schedule, being general manager is not all fun and games.
It's rewarding. I don't want to say it's all stress, but there's always it's never I'm just going to sit in my office. It's never a good time. Moment. Always something to do, but it's an acceptable level.
And that's our profile on Patty Lewis, one of Ryder College's finest students.
In security briefs, a resident reported the theft of personal belongings this morning. Bernard Johnson said while taking a shower, his wallet was stolen from his room. Johnson said although his door was locked, his window was partially open because it would not close properly. A report of harassment and physical abuse was made this morning by a Kroner woman pledging a sorority. A Centennial House resident was injured this morning when a door post between 2 front doors fell and hit her on the back of the head. She was treated and released from Helene Fold Medical Center. When we come back, we'll have Fran with the latest in sports at Ryder. A shock to the world as Magic Johnson announces his retirement from basketball after testing positive for the HIV virus.
Now we have Fran with sports.
Thanks, Nicole. The Ryder College track team continued its domination over the East Coast Conference this past weekend by winning its second consecutive championship. The team was led by Lance Hess, who finished third this past weekend after suffering from a nagging calf injury. We spoke recently with Lance about his accomplishments at Ryder and his future goals before leaving Ryder.
The things that I've accomplished at Ryder College in the past 2 years have been satisfying to an extent, but you always want more. It seems like you're never happy with what you've done. So I'd like to do a lot more in the next year and a half that I'm here. Hopefully maybe make it to nationals one year and make my mark at the IC4A championships.
Talk about comebacks. The Lady Broncs were down 2-0 in volleyball against Lehigh and turned it around to win 3-2. Everyone is doing the tomahawk chop. The first set was all Lady Engineers. Kara McGrath with the spike. Engineers won it 15-7. Second set, and McGrath was wreaking havoc again. Another spike, and the Engineers lead 2-0. But then the comeback began. The Lady Broncs won the third set 15-11, and Brenda Kibler's spike, there it is, sent them into a decisive fifth set. The fifth set was all Lady Broncs. Match point, and they won it when McGrath can't handle the feed. 7-15, 13-15, 15-11, 15-12, 15-10. With Rider leaving the ECC after this year, they're trying to stockpile as many championships as possible. After their upset win over UMBC, the Broncs took on Towson State for the soccer title. But the Tigers were too strong as they beat the Broncs 2-1 to win the ECC soccer championship. In NFL action, the Eagles were down at one point 23-0, but came back to win 32-30 over the Browns. Jim McMahon threw 3 TDs in the victory. The Giants beat the Cardinals 21-14 as Jeff Hostetler ran for 2 touchdowns. And in Jets action, the Colts, who have not scored a touchdown in 22 quarters, exploded for 28 points in their first win over the Jets. In other games, the Redskins went over the Falcons 56-17, the Bills over the Packers 34-24, the Oilers beat the Cowboys 26-23, the Raiders took the Broncos 17-16, and the Chiefs over the Rams 27-20. Also, the Saints beat the 49ers 10-3, the Steelers beat the Bengals 33-27, the Chargers put a dent in the Seahawks record at 17-14, and the Buccaneers beat the Lions 31-20. Also, the Dolphins took the Patriots at home 30-20, and on Monday night, the Bears beat the Vikings 17-10. The sports world was shocked this week when the NBA lost its goodwill ambassador. Wrbn Magic Johnson retired from the Los Angeles Lakers after testing positive for the HIV virus. In his 12-year career, Johnson led the Lakers to 9 finals, winning 5 of them. He was the recipient of the league's MVP award 3 times. But Magic did more than win championships. Along with Larry Bird, he rebuilt the NBA into one of the most popular team sports in America. Magic was a champion in high school as college as well, winning titles with Everett High School and Michigan State University. He will now become the spokesman for those inflicted with the HIV virus. But he will never be forgotten. We will always remember his patented no-look pass, his battle with Larry Bird and later Michael Jordan. No, Magic, you won't be forgotten. The Rider men's basketball team is getting ready for another exciting season. Anthony Coleman has the story on that.
Okay, it's basketball season again, and the Rider Broncs are ready to take charge. Proof of this was shown in their strong finish, losing to Towson State in the East Coast Conference Final last year. According to head coach Kevin Bannon, there are many ingredients needed if Riders to finish above last year's 14-16 record.
We need to take the kind of basketball that we played down the stretch last year and bring it into this year. The players that are coming back need to play that same kind of basketball, and then I'm very excited about our new recruiting class that we have coming in. So I think that blend of some exciting young players combined with some veterans, I don't think there's any question we can shoot for the conference title this year. And I think we'll be a tough team to beat at home, and we have to do a better job on the road. But certainly we can be an extremely competitive team.
This year's appointed captains are Keith Grimm and Jerome Comer. They both have high expectations for the team this year.
We very easily can take the championship this year. Last year we were runner-up, and we proved that we can play in the big games. We have our hands full, but if the team comes together and matures, I see a championship within our grasp easily.
Yeah, our object this year is not only to bring a banner here, but to increase our wins from last year and the years before. It's very important that we take a step forward instead of taking a step back this year. I mean, the momentum we have right now is definitely going to carry us to better places.
Team leader in last year's ECC Most Valuable Player, Jack Suber, agrees with Comer and Grimm.
Of course, a postseason bid to either NIT or NCAAs would be nice, but we have team goals. We just want to win every winnable game on our schedule, and come out feeling that we gave it our all this season, even regardless of a postseason bid.
The Broncs lost a crucial leader, Marcus Pryor, to graduation. Will Mark Wilcox be able to fill those big shoes?
I feel comfortable taking over leadership role. I just want to contribute whatever I can. Leadership kind of comes with the territory of being a point guard, so I'm going to fill that spot that Marcus left in the leadership role as well as the point guard role.
Pleasant surprise. Jay Bijak is back to provide leadership and points. But why come back to Rider for another season, Jay, when you're supposed to be in law school?
I applied to a lot of different law schools, and I really didn't get into anywhere I wanted to go. And I also knew that we were going to have a good team this year. And I talked to a lot of people, and they told me, why not play your 5th year? Because you're never going to have a chance to play again in your life, and you might as well take advantage of it.
And what about those new recruits? Who are they, and what can they do for us?
Well, I myself personally, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I hope to contribute a lot on the boards, in the defensive end. I don't look to score much. I just hope to keep that aspect in my favor.
Personally, I expect to provide leadership, be a strong rebounder, and support Jabbar on the inside and provide some toughness on the inside.
Me personally, I expect to run a team to be a leader as the point guard. With Coach Bandon's new style of playing with pressing and running, I plan to do that a lot. With my quickness and defensive skills, I hope to provide to help the team out.
We take it pretty much step by step. We're not looking that far into the future, talking years. Our first priority is going to be this season.
My first priority will be improve a little bit more in defense and help the team in any way I can.
Well, you met the 1991-92 Bronx basketball team. Look for big and exciting things this year. Right, Derek?
We think we can, with our schedule and our team this year, we think we can win 18 games easy, and that's what we're shooting for. So, but don't quote me on that.
For WRBN Sports, this has been Anthony Coleman.
And when we return, we'll have Dawn with weather and find out why CNC Music Factory did not let the show go on last night.
Now let's go over to Dawn with the weather.
The Student Center of Rider College, and this is WRBN's weather. The current temperature is 48 degrees. A storm that has turned up the East Coast over the weekend threatens sleet and slippery roads as it heads into New England today. It will first hit the southern shores of New Jersey with hail through the evening. The sleet will probably change to rain as it enters central New Jersey and the Rider College area. Portions of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York are issuing winter storm watch throughout the night. But before this explosive weather pattern hits us here at Rider, you may want to go out and enjoy the 50-degree sunny skies before winter creeps us behind our backs. The immediate forecast for today calls for continuous sunny skies and a slight westerly breeze. By evening, that breeze will turn into a gusting wind and temperatures will drop to 35 degrees. Overnight temperatures will continue to drop to an all-time low of 25 degrees, and sleet and possible snow are expected. Tomorrow, the clouds are expected to remain, and early morning temperatures will reach a possible 40 degrees. News 3 at 11 p.m. will have an updated forecast of the expected overnight rain, sleet, and snow, so tune in for that. But basically, I suggest you come out and enjoy this nice weather while it lasts. The 5-day forecast is as follows. After a low of 25 degrees tonight, we should be warming up to 40 degrees and cloudy by early morning. Clouds will remain until late Thursday evening when we may see a break in the sky. The outlook for Friday is partly cloudy with temperatures reaching a high of 45 degrees, while the weekend outlook is sunny with mild temperatures. Once again, the temperature here at the Student Center is 48 degrees with sunny skies. The barometric pressure is rising and winds are out of the west at 5 miles per hour. So as you can see, it's a nice day, but it does look bad as the weekend forecast, but it is snow season coming up. So get your skis ready, but come out while it's nice. Thank you. This is Dawn at WRBN. Back to the studio.
If you were waiting for the doors to open in the alumni gym, well, you probably waited all night. CNC Music Factory canceled their scheduled performance last night at Rider College. A spokesperson for the group said that it was due to a lack of funds which they received because of other colleges had canceled on the group. Kind of makes you go, And that's the news for the night. I'm Don Weigel.
And I'm Nicole Green. Thank you and join in for Channel News. Thank you and join Channel News. I'm Nicole Green, and thank you. Join Channel 3 News tomorrow at 6.
Night all.